There are tons of titles on Steam that have caught my attention throughout my time on the platform. The catchy graphics and playstyle of Unturned pulled me right in and gave me great entertainment and tons of content on my channel before I switched to the type of content that I'm currently doing. I've played that game for nearly 1,800 hours over the last 5 years, and even though I'm done playing it, it still caught my attention and attracted me in initially. The cool case opening systems and tactical gameplay that I saw on YouTube of CSGO pulled me in from the start, leading to me playing the game for a few hundred hours and spending just a tad bit too much money on it.
One of these. There we go. So proceed. I'm not gonna waste any time. Submit. Give me something good. Submit. See good. Op worm god. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say that's awesome, but I don't have an op skin, so that's good. That's really not bad at all, in my opinion. That's a pretty good trade.
But the one game that attracted me and drew me in more than all of the others was not Factorio. I bet you didn't see that one coming. Factorio never attracted me from the start. The gameplay looked weird, monotonous, and boring, and the graphics reminded me of something that the dude from Ready Player One would create after a terrible LSD trip. It just didn't have an appealing look to me, and I was never interested in the game because it really didn't seem like my thing. But one day, one awesome day, this changed. My friend gifted me this game that I had passed by on the store 10 million times, and I totally wasn't expecting it. I had to find a way to leave my computer running to get some fake hours on the game where I didn't feel bad about my friend buying it for me. I started up the game at about 6 p.m. that night and decided to give it a try because I was a good friend and I needed to fake like I was playing it, so I might as well see what it was about. I started playing with the process that I was supposed to use to start out in the career, and it was pretty enjoyable. I decided that I was going to check the clock to see how much time I had where I can play before I needed to study for my test that was the following day. I look at the clock and it was 3:30 a.m. Factorio drew me in from the very start, and on that first night I played, I already had 9 hours on the game and had a very ugly but functional factory. I would continue to play Factorio for days to come and would love every second of it. This title is actually the second highest rated title on Steam, only surpassed by Portal 2. It's a game that had an amazing early access campaign and great communication and support. Factorio has done everything right, and it's truly an awesome game, and that's why I'm making this video. So, I'm going to be talking about these outstanding things and more in today's video, why Factorio is so freaking awesome. If you aren't familiar, here is the point of the game, found on the Factorio website. Factorio is a game in which you build and maintain factories. You'll be mining resources, researching technologies, building infrastructure, automating production, and fighting enemies. Use your imagination to design your factory, combine simple elements into ingenious structures, apply management skills to keep it working, and protect it from the creatures who don't really like you. Wow, that sounds like fun! It actually sounds like the course description of the industrial engineering classes that I'm going to be taking in college. So, yeah, it doesn't sound like a fun game. As you can tell, this explanation is super blunt, and it does nothing to entice players to get them to play the game. The developers say exactly what the game is about, and they don't really care to lie to you in order to get you to play it. And the reason behind this is because Factorio is a true indie game. Even taking a glance at their slightly outdated looking website goes to show that it isn't developed by some multi-million-dollar company, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually developed by an 18-person team of a company known as Woob Software. I think it's pronounced Woob, and maybe Wooby, Woobay, I don't know, it's a weird word. But anyways, they are located in the Czech Republic and have built the game from the ground up. Everything except the music was created in-house, and the music was actually made by a freelance composer known as Daniel James Taylor. With everyone being together in a small team, the game can have a blunt and unappealing description. There's no corporate leaders to please, no investors that want to give their 2 cents, just the developers. But Robokast, why does the description of the game matter? I thought you were talking about why the game is good. The reason that I mention all this is to show one important thing about Factorio. It isn't pretty. The menu is unappealing, the website is outdated looking, and the graphics are exactly what they need to be without being focused on an aesthetic that's pleasing to all audiences. It may sound like a bad thing, but trust me, it's not. It's a factor that defines Factorio, a factor that shows what it's really about. Because of the lack of focus on the unimportant details, the entirety of Factorio is actually focused on what's important. the gameplay. And let's talk about that gameplay. The gameplay in Factorio is one of a kind. It's a boring concept executed so perfectly that it becomes the most addictive thing in the world. The goal of the game is to basically allow the game to play itself. You start out with some basic tools and materials, and you have to turn your manual labor into something automated, and turn that into something better, and repeat the process until you launch a rocket into space using nothing but machinery. It gets super complex, and this complexity is the first factor that makes the game so awesome. It's a game that requires you to think, and you're not just running around doing what you're told to do like in many other games. Planning all of your assembly lines demands thought, and when you get everything working and in perfect order, holy crap, you feel like a genius. For the whole purpose of the game, you have to try to find a way to make as many science packs as possible. You then use these science packs to research other things and progress even further, eventually trying to launch that rocket. Here's an example of how complex things get even in the start. This is my world that I started to record for this video's footage. Up here is where I mine the iron, down here is where I mine the copper, and over here is where I mine the coal. The iron goes down to these furnaces where it's made into iron plates. Down here, if you follow this conveyor belt, the copper goes up to these furnaces and gets made into copper plates. The coal starts over here and goes all the way around in a loop to power both sets of furnaces and the water pumps that are used to make electricity. Back to the iron, here it is done being made into plates, and these plates follow this conveyor belt. Right here, some of them are made into iron gears, some into conveyors, and the rest continue to go down here to be made into inserters on this side and circuit boards on this side. The iron gears go up here to be made into basic science packs. Once the copper is smelted, some of it goes up here to be combined with the iron gears for the basic science packs, and the rest goes over here and gets made into copper cable. The cable goes this way to be combined with the original iron plates and made into circuit boards, and then the circuit boards meet up with these iron plates again, and the iron gears to be made into inserters. Then the inserters meet up with the conveyors to be made into higher tiered science packs, and then all of the science packs go around this loop to be made into research. Now I know it sounds like a lot to explain, but all of this explaining goes to show how complex the game is, and literally all I'm doing at this point is making research packs. I've had to change my design around a bazillion times in order to get this to work, and it actually wasn't irritating at all. The changing around is actually the point of the game. You're constantly trying to improve yourself and your factory, and it's a constant challenge. I mean, half the time I'm just awkwardly staring at the screen trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life and questioning my sanity, but the rest of the game is fun, bro. The gameplay changes constantly as you progress in the game, and it starts out with stuff like these conveyor belts, but eventually turns to really awesome little automatic robots and trains that run on their own schedule. It gets more and more insane every time you unlock a new research, and the insanity keeps you guessing and questioning what you can do to improve your factory. This change in gameplay is what keeps you playing, and allows you to lose 20 years of your life due to stress when you're trying to figure out why your iron plates are getting mixed in with your rocket fuel. If you like problem solving or management, this is the game for you. One thing that I have heard people complain about in the past is the graphics. People say it looks like a 1990s style game, some people say the color scheme is ugly, and other people say that it makes them want to die. And while the third one is in fact true about the game, in a good way obviously, the first two are not. The drab, depressing environment suits the game perfectly. Remember, you're crash landed on an alien planet and creating machinery to pollute their world, steal their resources, and kill them as they are defending themselves. You can't expect a game like this to look like Roblox or Polybridge while you're trying to exterminate entire alien species. The drab environment only helps the feel of the game, and any other graphical changes probably would have made it much different. The game doesn't have to have ambient occlusion and Far Cry 5 snot animations for it to be exciting, and the constant motion that is shown with everything on the screen just helps to keep you focused on what you're doing and see how much work you've really completed. And the beautifully unnerving soundtrack adds to this theme. It makes you feel like the destruction you're bringing upon this alien planet is bad, and it makes you feel guilty about killing off all of the natural inhabitants of the world. Nah, just kidding. Those little bugs are creepy and annoying, and I really don't mind killing all of them. But back on topic once more, the soundtrack is honestly great, and it helps to set the mood of constant motion and growth. The creator of this music is honestly amazing, and this soundtrack is actually one of my personal favorites of any game. So this game is entertaining because of its focus on gameplay and not the unnecessary stuff. It has charm because of this small and close-knit team that worked on it, the graphics match the style of the game perfectly, and the music is amazing. What else? The mechanics of Factorio are simple enough to be understood, but hard enough to where it's nearly impossible to master them. There are tons of different tools and methods for doing things. There are filter inserters, fast inserters, long darn ones, and more. You can use these things however you want. You can use them the basic way and just direct everything into where it needs to go. But when you think a bit more about how you can use these things, it allows everything to run even smoother. If you look right here, you can see that I'm using a normal inserter to reach the first line of things. And since I couldn't figure out where to put the second line, I just put it next to it and used a long arm inserter instead. Over here, I have a filter inserter set up so that if the furnaces get backed up smelting my iron, the filter will catch the ore that gets passed and put it back around on the cycle where it doesn't end up where it's not supposed to be. These examples go to show that the game has no set template. It's entirely up to you to figure out how to make stuff work, and that's honestly another thing that I love about the game. If you can find a way to set up something to where it works, but not the proper way, you will be perfectly fine. But if you can figure out how to do it the proper way, it's even more satisfying. But nothing is as satisfying as the crafting in the game. Since Factorio is mainly focused on crafting, it had to be done perfectly or it would have ruined every other aspect of it. And trust me, it was done perfectly. You don't actually need all of the ingredients to craft what you want to craft. For example, if you need to make something that requires gears and copper, you don't have to craft the gears first. If you have iron plates in your inventory, it'll automatically craft the gears when you have to make the item that requires the gears. So as long as you have the basic materials, the game crafts all other steps of the process for you, and makes you not even think about crafting as much. And it's always good to not have to think about something that's a major aspect of the game. I'm almost done, but not yet. The final thing about this game that makes it so great is the community and the developers. The Factorio community is one of the best communities I've ever seen. Everyone shares their creations, helps each other out on Reddit, and accepts new players to the community without hesitation. It's a great community and everyone is drawn together by their love for the game. Factorio has some amazing user-made mods that can change everything entirely and allow for a whole different playstyle. And the developers do a good job at getting people to use these mods. And while there aren't very many updates to the game, and some people do look at this as a negative, I don't. I really don't know of anything that could be added to the game to make it any better. Everything that's in it right now works seamlessly together, and adding more things could easily mess up the balance. But, on the contrary, they could get ideas from the modding community and add them to the game without messing anything up, so I kind of see both sides of this. The devs are working to improve the few things that could use improvement. They're currently working on fixing some issues with the UI and making things a bit easier to understand. While earlier I did say that it was a good thing that they focused on the game first and these things later, they now can go back and change these things to make them even better. Factorio is an amazing game, and it's a lot of fun. If you don't have it, you should definitely try it. Even if it doesn't look appealing to you, you may still enjoy it, and if you don't, there's always that amazing Steam refund feature. What are your thoughts on Factorio? Is it as good as I made it seem, or am I just a major fanboy? Let me know in the comments. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, I will see you guys next time, and peace.